Boots Riley is one of one, and I Love Boosters is also one of one.
I shop here a lot, and I feel like I should have it all. Just want to take it all home, eat it up, and shoot it out my eyes.
I Love Boosters was the opening film of the 2026 South by Southwest Film and TV Festival, and it sold out the Paramount Theater quite easily, and you knew you were in for a good ride when you saw Boots Riley walking out on stage with one of the largest hats that you have ever seen, straight out of a Key and Peele sketch, dueling hats. And again, that is just Boots. He is completely unique as a person and as a filmmaker. And when he walked on that stage, you knew that you were getting into something. What that something is going to be is yet to be determined, but I Love Boosters is certainly a unique film. Full disclosure, his previous film, Sorry to Bother You, is one of my favorite films of the last decade, and so I'm naturally kind of drawn to his sort of weirdness. He's not for everyone. He does some things that are strange, that are unique, that might kind of catch you off guard, and so his films won't resonate with every single person in the audience. There's an argument to be made that because he kind of blurs the lines between the real and the unreal, it can be somewhat difficult to hold on to more tangible stakes when it comes to our characters. But if you're able to kind of just let that guard down and accept this crazy world for what it is, he crafts some very, very entertaining, interesting, and thought provoking films. For me, I Love Boosters sits below Sorry to Bother You, but I know that that will be the opposite for a lot of folks. I think a lot of people will enjoy this one more than maybe they enjoyed Sorry to Bother You. It's weird, but it's different. And I don't really know how to describe the project. It's one of those that you just need to see for yourself. I can give a surface level description. Essentially, we follow three main characters: Keke Palmer, Naomi Ackie, and Taylour Paige, who are boosters. They are stealing clothes from this very elite fashion designer played by Demi Moore, and then they're reselling them for cheaper. They are giving back to the community in a sense. And there is a strong ensemble here. I mentioned Demi Moore, who's great. Will Poulter is hilarious here and probably the standout, although he does essentially the same thing in every single scene. It still is so great, and every single time that I saw LaKeith Stanfield come up on screen, I was absolutely loving it. Again, no spoilers about his character. It is one-dimensional, kind of on the surface, but it's so good and it just works for some indescribable reason that you just want him on screen more and more and more. There's also Don Cheadle, who you see in a way that maybe you haven't seen him before. And beyond the cast, this really is a movie about art, about design, about craft, about the production. It truly, truly, truly is a work of art, whether or not the substance is ultimately something that is going to resonate with you. I think it's pretty difficult to not appreciate the craft elements here. Shirley Kurata was the head of costuming here. She was also head of costuming for Everything Everywhere All at Once. We have Christopher Glass, head of production design. We have some brilliant stop motion, like legitimately some of the most effective stop motion that I can recall in recent memory. Again, no spoilers about how exactly or the different ways that it plays out, but particularly with the skin suits, it is so, so brilliant. We also have heavy use of miniatures, primarily in the latter half of the film, and it's kind of funny just listening to Boots Riley talk about this after the project. Originally, they were only planning to shoot one scene with miniatures, but they ended up shooting quite a bit. They essentially had this San Francisco city built in miniature form and were able to do some really cool things with that. And speaking of very cool things, the DP here, Natasha Breyer, worked kind of hand in hand with Panavision to concoct some hybrid lenses for the film. Boots wasn't fully able to articulate exactly what was done, but apparently they worked again with Panavision to combine multiple different lenses to get the look that they wanted. And for those LaKeith Stanfield scenes that I mentioned, they built some sort of, this is the way that Boots described it, some sort of accordion-like device. There's a very interesting visual effect when this character is on screen, and I guess that they built this accordion lens kind of hybrid device to give a sort of pulsating feeling in those particular scenes. And then there is this futuristic device that becomes quite crucial to the plot, which is based on the ideas of dialectical materialism. Just some classic Marxism thrown in here. And I found this to be absolutely hilarious when it first came up. I used to teach political ideologies several years ago, and so I taught Marxism and I taught dialectics and all of this different stuff. And so when it first came up, I found it so funny. And then they kind of like use this device to explain certain concepts of Marxism, the concepts of contradictions and the thesis and antithesis, and really leaning into like other concepts throughout, like the surplus value of labor or alienation and this ultimate like proletariat revolution. But it never feels like you're one in a kind of politics lesson, and two, it never feels particularly preachy about the subject matter. And of course, there is like this inbuilt irony, this inherent irony about making a $20 million film that leans so heavily into these sort of concepts. And Boots is well aware of that inherent contradiction. And in fact, the film kind of plays on that idea of contradiction as well. And he talked a little bit about money after the showing in the Q&A, and I find it so fascinating whenever I hear established filmmakers talk about their screenplays, their screenwriting process, and how they essentially go against every single thing that you are taught to do. If you are not established, you need to follow X, Y, and Z rules, but if you are established, you can do whatever the hell you want. And within his scripts that he was delivering to the studio specifically, he would have like pages of explanations for certain scenes, being like, hey, you know, I know this sounds crazy, but we're going to be able to shoot it in like 2 or 3 days. This is how we're going to do it. It's not going to cost millions of dollars, right? It's all going to be okay. Please don't make me take this out. Like, I have it under control. And he would literally put that into the script, which I think is hilarious as well. And I realized that I haven't truly articulated the kind of ins and outs of I Love Boosters because it's very difficult to do so. Like I mentioned earlier, you just need to watch this movie. It's absurd, it's wild, it takes you in directions that you don't expect, but it is such an interesting piece of art. The craft is phenomenal, the costuming is phenomenal, the production design is phenomenal, the cinematography is phenomenal, the miniatures are phenomenal. Everything is so fascinating, so unique, and so Boots Riley. Did this hit as hard as Sorry to Bother You hit me years ago? No, it didn't. I felt the second act drag just a little bit before going absolutely bonkers at the end. But again, this will not be the experience for everyone. A lot of people are going to like this film more than Sorry to Bother You. And at the very least, it is a worthwhile watch because it is weird and it is unique and it is something special to watch in a theater. Speaking of watching, thank you for watching this. Like, comment, subscribe. Seriously, do all those things because they are helpful, and they help me. And watch other videos when they come out, because I'll put them out when I can, and that would be awesome. And thank you so much. And you're probably not watching anymore, but, well, thank you if you are. Bye.